Welcome to Bill's Aviation Podcast, where your stories are our stories. I'm a general aviation pilot, aviation writer, airplane builder, avionics developer, test pilot, and general screw-up. All stories feature Joe and his merry band of miscreants. The purpose of these stories is to educate and entertain pilots. If you have a story you'd like to share anonymously, please contact me. Today's story is titled, Running a Battery Down in Flight. Joe was preparing to go on a long cross-country flight with a friend. He loaded the baggage compartment, briefed his friend on the trip, and completed his pre-flight inspection. Climbing in, getting his passengers secured, it was time to start the engine. Running through the pre-flight start checklist, master on, ignition on, strobes on, fuel pump on, mixture and throttle set, and finally yelling clear before pressing the big starter button. The engine started on the second blade as normal for Joe's aircraft. Pre-flight engine run-up and check were normal, so Joe and his passenger blasted off northeast bound. Around 2 or 3 hours into the flight, Joe got an audio and visual warning from his EFIS that his battery was running low. So much for performing good scans of all the instruments, Joe thought to himself. Checking the main breaker and verifying it was not blown, Joe continued to scan the entire panel and all the circuit breakers. Joe found it odd that none of the breakers had popped. Finally, looking all the way over at the corner of the panel, Joe found the culprit. Only the battery side of the red split electrical master switch was on. This allowed the aircraft to draw power from the battery, but without the other side of the split master turned on, the aircraft's alternator would not recharge the battery. Simple solution. Turning on the other side of the electrical master switch eliminated the EFIS warning message and, over the rest of the flight, recharged the battery. Lesson learned: when performing the pre-flight checks, verify both sides of the electrical master is on and the battery is charging. In addition, continue to scan the instruments. Don't just wait for the fancy EFIS to tell you something is wrong. Try to catch it before the EFIS recognizes an issue. Thank you for listening, and if you enjoyed what you heard, please hit the like button and subscribe by clicking on the logo on the lower right of your screen. If you really like what you heard, please help support this channel and become a Patreon. Part of each donation will go to aviation safety and aviation youth programs. Be sure to check out next week's story about Joe flying in Bob's a Rocket Champ and almost flying it into a tree.